Today, we're announcing Wave 2 of Microsoft 365 Copilot. You will see us evolve Copilot in 3 major ways.
I was actually born pretty close to the Microsoft campus in the Pacific Northwest, but ich habe fast 3 Jahre in Deutschland gelebt und gearbeitet.
We're enabling you to turn every SharePoint site into an agent.
Copilot Wave 2, Dell integration into Intune, Python and Excel. These are just a few of the juicy announcements from Microsoft this previous month. And in today's video, I'm going to be covering all the condensed information across the Microsoft suite of products, including Microsoft Teams, 365 apps, Copilot, Intune, and more. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see these update videos each month. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's Nick. I'm a Microsoft MVP and I've been creating content here on the channel for the better half of a decade. Let's go ahead and get into it here with Microsoft Teams, kicking things off. Okay, so this first announcement here is related to a refresh view of your teams and channels. It's more of a UX UI update within Teams, just a condensed, easier flow for users to be able to discover the teams that they're part of and the subsequent channels without having to kind of dive deeper into the settings to be able to find that. You can see that in some of the screenshots that I'm showing here. This is expected to roll out mid-October and be complete by late October. Next one here is adding your location signal within Microsoft Teams. If you watch my past videos, you know Microsoft's investing a lot more in hybrid work lately. So this is extending that so that users can add the building location that they might be in, or if they're working remotely as well too. If you're working in mom's basement, maybe you have that as one of your building locations.
Hey Ma, we got chicken or what? Ma!
But this will allow users to go ahead and set their location within Teams so that other users across the 365 apps can go ahead and see where they're located, and maybe that creates a better collaboration and network when people are working hybridly within different offices or working remote. Real quick guys, a short break for our sponsor Cloud Capsule here, which is an application that I built to help you monitor your security within your Microsoft 365 tenant that is mapped to the CIS controls. This is something that you could leverage to perform security audits across your customers or your individual Microsoft 365 tenants, map it to CIS, and begin to have steps in mind to go perform a compliance uplift within these customer environments, as well as derive certain project revenue from them as well too. So if you haven't already, definitely check it out. You go to cloudcapsule.io and run a free assessment today to see what it's all about. Next one here is related to volume ratio settings for users that are using language interpretation within Teams. Some of you may not even know that this exists, but Teams has a feature that allows you to translate one language that somebody's speaking live on a call into a different one. And with this volume setting, you're basically controlling how loud that extra voice is there that's translating into, English to German or something like that. And this will allow you to control that directly within the team settings that you're seeing here with on the page. Timelines for this one is mid-November and expect to be complete by late November. Another cool feature you might not know about in Microsoft Teams is voice isolation. This has been available on Windows. It's coming to Mac OS here with this latest announcement, but effectively this allows you to record your voice so that the AI within Teams can better detect any background noise, like if you're at a coffee shop or if you're at the airport, something that's noisy, to cancel all that noise out and give the other members on the call a much clearer sound of your voice and interaction on that call. Expected to come out for Macs mid-October and be complete by late October. Next one here is another minor update, just allowing some better functionality for when you share images in Microsoft Teams and the user experience for clicking into those. Previously, you had to click on one, exit out, click on the next one, exit out, and this is just giving you more of a carousel-like UI behind that, so you can quickly click through all of the cat photos that Karen sent you from the previous week. Timelines on this one, it's supposed to come out mid-September, be complete by mid-October. Next one here is more of an admin security function, blocking a user from accessing any type of chat within your organization. Users can block external users today within Teams on the fly. If you wanted to block somebody from reaching out to one-to-many users within your organization, you can now blocklist them from the Teams Admin Center, and those users would be removed subsequently from any chats and group chats as well. Timelines on this one is early November, expect to be complete by mid-November. Next one here is another security feature. This is specifically for external users joining bridges that you have for your Teams meetings and entering in a passcode, that passcode is going to change from a minimum length of 6 characters up to 8 characters. So not a huge upgrade, but definitely a security improvement. Some more settings in the Teams admin center that can allow you to control outside access even further that you could check out. But this feature will be coming out early November, be complete by mid-November. Okay, so shifting into Outlook here, the first announcement's relating to giving the users the ability to click and drag and drop one of their Outlook messages into the calendar on the left-hand navigation and actually create a new calendar event from that. I'm going to assume it's going to add that particular email or message as an attachment to the meeting invite, and then you'll be able to manipulate the title and the body and obviously the invitees. Just giving you some more organization to that. Timelines on this one is late October, be complete by late November. Next one here is related to Outlook on iOS and Android. This is specifically related to being able to view the online archive folder if you have that enabled on your mailbox. Previously, users would not be able to see that folder and they'd have to use search to try to find messages within that folder. Now it's explicitly shown on that screen within the UI. Timelines on this one is late September, be complete by late October. Shifting into OneDrive here, this is only one announcement, but it's related to some new prompts that users will see with certain actions being taken. The first of which you can see here is if they're deleting an item that was shared out or is being shared with another individual and letting them know that they will no longer have access to that document as a confirmation. And the other one here is related to a mass file download, specifically, I believe 200 documents or more in a single deletion action that's going to ask them to confirm that action before they go ahead and do that. And this, as you might imagine, might be because users deleted files that they probably shouldn't have. So both of these will roll out mid-September, be complete by early October. Next, as we shift into Microsoft Intune here, this first one is related to new alerts related to Windows updates. If you're managing the updates of Windows devices with Microsoft Intune, if you're an Intune user like me, desperately am craving better reporting and alerting, so always excited to see these announcements. This one is particularly related to better reports that you can now pull out of Intune as it relates to diagnostic information around the OS updates. You can access these in the report section, but also across the Windows update section, you get some more telemetry about the error messages, and it's a little bit more verbose than we've seen in the past, given they are getting more diagnostic data. So definitely check out my blog for more information on this one. But these reports are GA, so you can check them out today in the Intune Admin Center. This next one here, I'm super excited about, mostly because it maps back to CIS framework and specifically Control 1 for asset inventory. But as you can see in this screenshot, this is allowing you to begin to create profiles that will bundle in your asset inventory together based off of certain attributes. And you can begin to uncover things across your assets, like if they have TPM, if they have BitLocker encryption and the BitLocker keys are being stored. If you're looking at certain battery health issues, they're really going to start to bundle this with a lot more metadata for us to be able to classify, and even things like upgrading previous Windows 10 devices to Windows 11 and understanding eligibility there. There's actually no official timelines on this one yet, but check out my blog. It has a lot more information in the actual tech article that came out about this. Next one is also a very cool announcement if you are a consumer of Dell as your main hardware provider. This is a direct integration with the Dell portal, and this allows you to sync in devices specifically also for Autopilot if you're using that today, which many of us are in today's world. So definitely really cool integration, definitely a lot to unpack there as it relates to what you can do, maybe what you need to change up from your operational processes. Timelines on this one is October, so next month. If you're watching this video, maybe you're already into October, but definitely, again, another one where I have a whole blog post on that. You can see that on my website. So the last one here is related to quality updates being automatically installed in the out-of-box experience for Windows 11 devices that are being enrolled into Intune, specifically Autopilot. So this allows you to apply those quality updates directly to those PCs upon unboxing of that device as part of the onboarding experience. This is another one where the dates haven't officially been applied yet, so TBD. Keep up to date with my channel for more information on that one. Next, getting into Entra here, if you're an admin, you may have already been getting a lot of email messages about this from Microsoft with this impending deadline here of the mid portion of October next month. But effectively, Microsoft is enforcing and extending MFA requirements, not just into the 365 admin portal, but also into Intune and the Entra admin center as well too. I would hope that many of us out there already have MFA being applied to these admin portals across the board as part of a holistic conditional access policy or administrator rights for users within the organization that you leverage for that. But just be privy to that across your customers if you're an MSP watching this video. And again, no timelines on this one because the timeline itself, the deadline when they're going to start hard enforcing this, one of their managed policies in conditional access is going to be October 15th. Shifting into the Microsoft 365 apps here, this first announcement is related to the new planner, and specifically this is combined previously Microsoft To Do, the old planner, and Microsoft Project in kind of a holistic app. It's been available in Microsoft Teams here for a little bit, a lot of excitement behind it because of the combination of different Microsoft applications, but this is now coming into the web version, which will be no different than Microsoft Teams, but it's just going to be available on the web as well. Maybe you're not a Teams user today as part of your 365 subscription, but timelines on this one is mid-October, be complete by late November. Okay, so shifting into Copilot here, definitely a lot of Copilot announcements because of this full big announcement around Copilot Wave 2. So a lot of these that I'm going to cover are part of that announcement. Look at my blog though for more information on each because I'm going to go high level. Specifically also, just as a quick call out, they renamed the product again from Copilot for Microsoft 365 to Microsoft 365 Copilot. Very confusing over time again as well. This first announcement though is related to Copilot Pages, and this is using an integration between Microsoft BizChat and specifically Microsoft Loop, which is a documentation tool, if you're not familiar, documentation app that you get as part of your Microsoft 365 subscription. And what this is effectively allowing you to do is begin to chat effectively with this large language model, Copilot within Microsoft Teams as an example that you can see here. And then it's combining the knowledge of what's on the web and also what's in your workplace as far as any documents you're working on and shared information to be able to start to curate any type of notes that you didn't transfer into what they call a Copilot page, which is like a loop component that's tied into Microsoft Teams. And this allows you to co-collaborate with other members of your team, begin to create other type of components like tables, things like that. So it's a great dynamic way to start to do investigation, transfer it into a canvas that you can then share out with other individuals to co-collaborate. Timelines on this one, late September. This is actually already in my tenant license with Copilot, so you might be already seeing this today by the time you watch this video. Next one here is Copilot agents in SharePoint. They have a whole Copilot agent section as part of this Wave 2 announcement, and effectively you can use Copilot Studio to create these business agents really quickly. And this is taking a concept that we had previously of virtual agents and really pouring a lot of gas on it with the capabilities you have at your disposal. And one of the things that you can do really quickly now is you can actually take a SharePoint document repository and actually build an agent based off of that repository that can actually query those documents to answer questions, maybe their FAQs, maybe their HR knowledge base articles. And you can actually share this within your team's environment so others can kind of chat with this bot that you've created that's tied directly to your SharePoint repository. So very powerful. This is definitely something I'm excited about and do a separate video on that as well too, because it's probably the biggest request that I've gone from a more of a professional services offering to tie in that data into a chat-like, large language-like function that users can access either internally or externally. So timelines on this one is early October. I bet when it first comes out, there's going to be some bugs, so I'll do another video specifically on that. Next one here is Copilot in Excel with Python. Copilot in Excel just become generally available with this announcement as well, but this functionality is going into a public preview. We're able to describe what you're looking for in Excel. I can actually analyze and generate Python code that you can insert into Excel as well too, to help with visualizations, calculations, and much more. So a lot to unpack there. Again, this is in public preview and it will be coming GA in the future. Don't know official timelines yet. For Microsoft Outlook, they're including a feature now called Prioritize My Inbox, which is allowing Copilot to analyze your inbox to go ahead and prioritize the emails you should be going and looking at. This is going to tie into some augmentation that the user can do to say whether or not this is a high priority user that I should respond to quickly or context that I usually respond to quickly, so it can learn over time, which is a pretty cool functionality. Timelines on this one, they cited as public preview late 2024, so not an official date yet, but maybe sometime around the November, December timeframe. Next here with Microsoft PowerPoint, Copilot's integrating to add 2 additional functionalities. One they're calling Narrative Builder, which allows you to kind of interact with Copilot to build out and manipulate the slides that will end up being created. And as far as all the topics and sub-bullets goes, that's going to use to create not just the textual information, but the graphical information as well. The other feature that they're introducing is called Brand Manager, which allows Copilot to capture your branding into the PowerPoint templates so you can be ready to go immediately when it's creating and manipulating the PowerPoint document so it doesn't go off-brand in any way. Both of these features are generally available today if you have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. There's a lot more depth with these announcements as it relates to Wave 2, so definitely check out my blog for the full details of the announcements, including updates to Word, updates to OneDrive, that I just didn't want to cover for the sake of time within here. This next announcement though is related to a discount offer that Microsoft is extending for the CSP program, the Cloud Solution Provider program, as a 15% discount on Copilot licensing from now till the end of the year, basically December here for this promotion. Caveat is that it's a 10 license minimum, so you do have that consideration from a financial costing perspective, and it still is going to be annual prepaid. So this got introduced September 1st, good through the rest of the year. If you're working with a distributor like a Pax8 as an example, they're going to be the ones that are going to be conducting this promotion. They probably already made you aware of it by the time you're watching this recording. But stay tuned for that. If you have customers, if you're an MSP, definitely reach out to them, as this is a good time to think about purchasing because of the discount involved. Next announcement here is related to web search query transparency, and that's really related to the ability for a user within the context of BizChat with Copilot Chat to be able to turn on web context, so it's pulling information from publicly available internet sources as well as potentially their work documents to source an answer to the user, but it's now going to include citations of what it's pulling from Bing search as part of those answers in the actual response back to the user. And then from an admin perspective, we're also going to get more verbose logging within the audit logs themselves to be able to detect what responses were delivered and when Bing Chat, or Bing Search I should say, was used. This is going to come out October 2024, no official date from them on this except for that monthly time frame. So if you're using Copilot, stay tuned, look out for that as you're chatting with Copilot and see those cited responses. And this last one here is an interesting one for Copilot on Windows devices. And I think this is specifically because people have a lot of privacy considerations, or concerns rather, as it relates to Copilot, and seeing that Copilot symbol pinned to their taskbar automatically has caused a lot of frustration. So in response to that, Microsoft's kind of changing the way they're doing this with Windows devices, and they are kind of rolling that back up into the 365 application, meaning the Copilot icon is going to be unpinned by default from the Windows devices moving forward on Windows 11 PCs, and you will be able to add it explicitly if you wanted to, but it's going to be bundled into that 365 app icon instead. So it's just interesting because of the concerns that many people have expressed to Microsoft with that being on there, and they probably experienced a lot of support cases asking how they can get that unpinned from their taskbar. So timelines on this one is supposed to start rolling out September 24th, be completed around the October 8th timeframe, but anything net new beyond that would start to have that not being applied anymore. So stay tuned for that. If you've been manually ripping that out, maybe not something you have to do anymore in the future. Shifting to the last section here for SharePoint, this is kind of tied into Copilot because they built a separate add-on SKU called SharePoint Advanced Management, or what they're acronyming as SAM, which I'm not a fan of, but it's an add-on licensing that you can get. It's an extra $3 per user per month that does a lot of data governance features within SharePoint to help you administer this for the data privacy considerations that we now have introducing AI into the workplace. So I'm not going to go through all these. Definitely check out my blog for information about all these different features that come part of that. The timelines of availability kind of vary. Some are in public preview, some will come out in the future, some are available today. So you want to check out those uniquely, but effectively that gets into some of the things that we would want to see, like looking at a site layer of how many public links are shared, what does the sharing permissions look like, do we have any inactive sites that we can actually archive right now and get rid of some maybe sensitive data that's part of them, can we restrict access on who can actually create sites. It's really giving you a holistic picture. I encourage you to check it out. I think that it's a bummer that's an add-on licensing, but it specifically covers up some of the vast security concerns and operational overhead that you think about when you go into this type of AI uplift or data governance uplift, and especially more considering SMB that's pretty messy these days as well. So check that blog post out to see more information about all these announcements. I've been showing some screenshots here of some of the features, but I hope you guys check that out just because I think it's at least worth exploring. Okay guys, that's everything I had for you today. Definitely comment below with some of the features or functionality you're most excited about. As always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see these monthly update videos come out and get notifications when I do publish them. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week.